A devotee. How can a man get rid of his ego? Master. You cannot get rid of it until you have realized God. If you find a person free from ego, then know for certain that he has seen God. Devotee. What, sir, are the signs of God vision? Master. Yes, there are such signs. It is said in the Bhagavata that a man who has seen God behaves sometimes like a child, sometimes like a ghoul, sometimes like an inert thing, and sometimes like a madman. A man who has seen God becomes like a child. He is beyond the three gunas. He is unattached to any of them. He behaves like a ghoul, for he maintains the same attitude towards things holy and unholy. Again, like a madman, he sometimes laughs and sometimes weeps. Now he dresses himself like a dandy, and the next moment he goes entirely naked and roams about with his cloth under his arm. Therefore he seems to be a lunatic. Again, at times he sits motionless, like an inert thing. Devotee. Does the ego disappear altogether after the realization of God? Master. Yes. Sometimes God totally effaces the ego of his devotee, as in the state of samadhi. But in many cases, he keeps a trace of ego. But that doesn't injure anybody. It is like the ego of a child. A 5-year-old child no doubt says, I. But that ego doesn't harm anybody. At the touch of a philosopher's stone, steel is turned into gold. The steel sword becomes a sword of gold. The gold sword has the form of a sword, no doubt, but it cannot injure anybody. One cannot cut anything with a gold sword. To Pratap. You have been to England. Tell us what you saw there. Pratap. The English people worship what you call gold. Of course, there are also some good people in England. Those who live an unattached life. But generally, one finds there a great display of rajas in everything. I saw the same thing in America. Master. To Pratap. It is not in England alone that one sees attachment to worldly things. You see it everywhere. But remember that work is only the first step in spiritual life. God cannot be realized without sattva, love, discrimination, kindness, and so on. it is the very nature of Rajas to involve a man in many worldly activities. That is why Rajas degenerates into Tamas. If a man is entangled in too many activities, he surely forgets God. He becomes more and more attached to woman and gold. But it is not possible for you to give up work altogether. Your very nature will lead you to it, whether you like it or not. Therefore, the scriptures ask you to work in a detached spirit. That is to say, not to crave the work's results. For example, you may perform devotions and worship and practice austerities. But your aim is not to earn people's recognition or to increase your merit. To work in such a spirit of detachment is known as Karma Yoga. But it is very difficult. We are living in the Kali Yuga, when one easily becomes attached to one's actions. You may think you are working in a detached spirit, but attachment creeps into the mind from nobody knows where. You may worship in the temple, or arrange a grand religious festival, or feed many poor and starving people. You may think you have done all this without hankering after the results. But unknown to yourself, the desire for name and fame has somehow crept into your mind. Complete detachment from the results of action is possible only for one who has seen God.